Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and our most welcome guests. A warm welcome to the 15th meeting of the Champion Evaluators Advanced Toastmasters Club. Reaching our 15th meeting is a meaningful milestone and reflects the commitment and enthusiasm that each one of you bring to this space of learning and thoughtful evaluation. As John C. Maxwell said, leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. In many ways, that is what evaluation does. It empowers speakers to grow and become better communicators. Before we begin, just a quick reminder to please keep your phones muted when not speaking, and if possible, keep your videos on so we remain connected and engaged. Now, please join me in welcoming our club president, distinguished Toastmaster Jyothika Shetty. Our leadership continues to nurture a culture of thoughtful evaluation and meaningful learning in our club. Over to you, Madam President.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Savita. Let's give Savita a huge round of applause. A warm welcome, dear champions and our guests. A very, very warm welcome to our 15th meeting, and also to all the ladies of the club, and if guests any, a very, very happy International Women's Day. The Women's Day was yesterday, but today we are meeting for the very first time. So let's give ourselves a huge round of applause, unmute yourself, and wish each other very happy International Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day.
Yes,
Happy Women's
please
Day.
feel free to
Happy
do so.
Women's Day.
Fantastic. All right, a warm welcome to our guest this evening, a Toastmaster or Distinguished Toastmaster Nikhil HS from District 121. He's a member of District 121. I'll let you introduce yourself, but before that, a warm welcome also to our Area Director, Toastmaster Sandhya Naik, who's here on her official visit to our club. Warm welcome, Sandhya.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Nikhil, would you like to introduce yourself? Because some of us are seeing you for the first time. Please introduce yourself.
Absolutely. I hope I'm audible and visible both.
Yes, you are.
Awesome. Madam Past District Director Savita ma'am and fellow Toastmaster and guests. My name is Nikhil. I've been a Toastmaster since 2019, closing 7 years this year, and I'm a dual member, currently a part of VR Advanced Toastmasters Club and BTM Toastmasters Club. Like I said before, I look across this screen and I see a lot of familiar faces. For those of you who may not know me, I'm a good friend of Daryl, and those of you who know Daryl know that you cannot say no to Daryl. That's why I've taken up the role of the panelist here. I'm excited to be the panelist at Champion Evaluators Advanced Toastmasters Club along with Ballal sir. A lot excited and a little curious as well as to how this format of evaluation will work out. Looking forward to a great 1.5 hours with all of you. Over to you, Madam President.
Thank you very much, Nikhil. I'm sure you're going to have a great time. And thank you for obliging to our blue-eyed boy, Daryl Rodricks. And also hearty congratulations for winning the area contest, and wish you all the best at the division contest. He's our area champion, if I'm not mistaken, right? Evaluation. All right. Now, I said that yesterday was 8th March was the International Women's Day, a day we celebrate women. We celebrate women every day, but this particular day is exclusively dedicated to the courage, to the resilience, to the grit, and a lot of other things that women are a part of. So before I begin with my story, I'd like to ask you, when I say women or woman, what comes to your mind? I'll let the floor open, or I'll keep the floor open to all of you, and each one of you can tell me one word that comes to your mind when you think of a woman. Let's start with Ashima.
Hi, good evening, Jyothika.
One word.
I cannot describe women in one word. I think women is a lot of words. It cannot be one word because the amount of things we do. So I cannot describe in one word. It's lots and lots of words.
All right. Thank you. DTM Maria.
Resilience.
Fantastic. Savita.
I mean, I thought of mother. When you said women, I hadn't thought of my mother.
Mother. All right. DTM Ballal. Please unmute yourself, Dr. Ballal.
I remembered my mom. Yeah, exactly same
Mom.
as Savita. Moms all over
Very
the
good.
world.
DT Murmila. Please unmute yourself, ma'am.
I think woman is tradition.
Tradition. Fantastic. Kiran.
Sorry.
What comes to your
Yeah.
mind? One word.
Love.
When I say woman or
Love.
women. Yeah.
Love.
Love. Very good. Speak, Kalika.
I was going to say the same thing. I was going to say love because I also think about my mother.
All right. Daryl, what about you?
Unconditional.
Unconditional. Nikhil.
Most of the words have been said. I would say strength.
Strength. Very good. Divya.
Substance.
Substance. Lyra.
Warrior.
Warrior. Wow, that's a big one. Sandhya.
Yes, I was also about to say strength, but probably I'll say magnificent.
Magnificent. That's fantastic. Vijay. Please unmute yourself, Vijay.
Woman is a nourisher of our life.
Nurture.
Nourisher.
Okay, nourisher. All right. Nourishing. So I can say nurture, nurturer. All right, Sophie.
Courage.
Courage. And Vatsa. Probably Vatsa is traveling. So we've got so many words when we think about this word or when we hear this word woman. Resilience, mother, mom, tradition, unconditional, strength, substance. Oh my God. So it's really justified, right, that we have at least one day dedicated to us in a year. So the men around here, please don't sulk. You have your day as well. So, but one thing that I can say is that women are women because of the support we receive from the men in the society. All the men, the unconditional love or the strength that you give, and this is our day to say thank you to you as well for making us or helping us be what we are. But when we think about strength, substance, magnificent, and if I ask any one of you to narrate a story or think about that person who epitomizes these qualities, I'm sure you'll have a lot of stories, and all of us would like to start from our own mother, and so would I. But here's one story. In the context of Toastmasters, I'd like to talk about one story that is common to all of us. The very reason we women are here in this platform is because of one lady called Helen Blanchard. Now, Toastmasters is an organization that's been around for over 100 years. Effectively, as we all know, it started in 1924. But do you know, up until the 1970s, women were not formally a part of this organization. While India had a prime minister in the 1960s, that's 1966, the United States didn't have a woman president or the woman member in Toastmasters till the 70s. So we had Madam Helen Blanchard, who actually disguised under the name of Homer Blanchard and became a member of this organization. So she was in disguise. And for the first 3 years, she did what other men did. But in 1973, when this came to light, she didn't escape. She stood courageously, she spoke, and she became that beacon of hope for men, for women like you and me. So in 1973, the board took the decision to include women as a part of the membership of this organization. In 1977, Toastmasters International had its first world champion of public speaking, a female world champion of public speaking. And in 1985, Homer or Helen Blanchard became the first international president, female president of Toastmasters International. Rest, as they say, is history because we've seen so many women international president. This year, too, we have Eletta Roche. We've had Radhi Spear. We've had every single person. We have one of our own, Gauri Sheshadri, who soon, in a couple of years, will become the international president. But what I really would like to say thank you to Madam Helen Blanchard is for her courage to lay that foundation, to show us that hope, to lay that foundation for all of us. Because if it was not her, probably women wouldn't have been included in this organization in the early 70s. Probably it would take a few more years for us to come into this picture. But thank you to her for being that light, for being that hope, and showing that path and putting us where we deserve to be. With that story, I'd like to once again wish all of you a happy International Day, a Women's Day, and let's be proud for the contribution that we make to the society and for who we are. With that, I'd now like to move on to the crux of the meeting. That's the actual exciting part of the meeting. And I'd like to invite on stage the Toastmaster of the evening, who's a woman that I've known for the past 1 year. And not only in this club, in another club as well. And I've also had the privilege to work with her as a leaper as well in the Part of the Leap program. A wonderful individual, a good person, so good at heart. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome, please put your hands together, another woman onto the stage, Toastmaster Ashima Jain. Over to you, Ashima, to take the meeting forward.
Thank you so much, Jyothika, for putting so many good words for me. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and champions of feedback. I am Ashima, and I am the Toastmaster of the day today. This meeting of champions, evaluators, master. Am I audible? Okay.
Yes, Ashima.
Yes. Now, most Toastmaster clubs celebrate speeches, but here we celebrate something even more powerful. The thinking behind the feedback. Because a speech may last a few minutes, but a great evaluation can shape a speaker for a lifetime. At Champion Evaluators, we believe feedback is not criticism, it's a guidance and reflection. Sometimes it is the spark that unlocks the next level of speaker's journey. Tonight, every word spoken will be heard through two lenses: the lens of the speaker and the lens of the evaluator. Speaker who share their messages, evaluator who helps them refine the messages. Here, we don't just listen, we observe, analyze, and evaluate each other. So here I am, Toastmaster of the day, beginning the whole meeting. Our meeting is divided into 3 sections. One is the speakers, prepared speeches will be presented by 2 speakers, and then evaluation section. There'll be 4 evaluators evaluating speaker 1 and speaker 2, followed by the most famous panelist session where we'll have a moderator and they'll be different panelists who will be evaluating, who will be further evaluating the evaluators. To help me out, I'll have timer who will keep our meeting disciplined and on track. We have timer of the day. Just a sec. Toastmaster Lyra Pinto with us. And I request all the speakers and evaluators to kindly keep an eye on these signals to respect the time limits. Lyra ma'am, can you please show us the red, yellow?
Yeah, 1 sec. I'll just give me a minute. God. I'm sorry, I'm unable to find the timer flash. You go on, I'll just download it and
Yes, I'll send it across to you meantime.
Yeah.
As we all know, there'll be 5 minutes to 7 minutes allotted to the speakers. 5 minutes, ma'am will be showing green card. 6 minutes, she'll be showing a yellow amber card, and 7 minutes red card with 30 seconds grace period. And the evaluators will be assigned 2 to 3 minutes with 2 minutes yellow card, green card, 2 minute 30 seconds green card, and 3 minutes red card with 30 seconds grace period. So here I am requesting the first speaker to get ready with their project. Here we are with the first speaker, and our first speaker is Toastmaster Kalika. She'll be presenting her speech. The purpose of this project is for the member to apply his or her leadership and planning knowledge to develop a project plan, organize a guidance committee, and implement the plan with the help of a team. The purpose of the second speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her experience completing the project. Her speech, apologies, just a sec. Her speech title is The Architecture of Delegation, Path Innovating Planning Level 5, Project 1, second speech. So I hope Lyra ma'am is ready with the cards.
No, not yet. I don't know where it disappeared.
Sure.
I
Ma'am, I have the card.
requested Daryl to do the needful. In the meantime, I'll just download them. Sorry about
No
it.
problem, ma'am. No problem. I'll just share the cards
Yeah,
over the
okay.
chat. And meantime, I'll do
I'll
the
keep the timing
timer
also.
role
I
as
can
well.
keep the timing.
Just give
Yeah,
me a
okay.
second.
Yeah. Yes.
Kalika, just give me a minute. I'll put on the cards and I'll start timing. Ma'am, I'll just start the timing, and meantime, you can please
Yeah.
go ahead.
I was able to do. You carry on. Let us start.
Okay,
I will
sure,
time.
sure.
I got it. Yeah.
So, so I would request Kalika to please go ahead and start with the speech. The title is The Architecture of Delegation, Toastmaster Kalika.
When a leader assigns a task, what exactly is it that they hand over? Is it the work? Is it the responsibility? Or is it the outcome? Initially, when I started delegating, I thought it was the obvious answer, the first one, handing over your work to someone else. But sooner or later, I realized that the answer was not so simple. It was more about the clarity behind it. The first time when I took up a leadership position was when I became a president of a Toastmasters club. Just like how I thought, I started assigning people work. I looked into every single task there was to do, and I started assigning it to the most competent people around me. Everything was going well. Meetings were going on smoothly, posters were being made, and everything went on smoothly. At least, this is what it looked like from the outside. Delegation was going on smoothly. But after a closer introspection, I realized that this system of mine was slightly flawed. Again and again, I found myself nudging people to do their work. And again, I found myself clearing out doubts that should have been cleared out long time ago. Why was this happening? After a little bit of thinking, I thought it was just because of my inexperience and because maybe I need a little more time to start delegating work. The second time I took up a leadership position was when I took up the role of an area director. Now, this is where I would like to explain the first part of my speech. The first part of my project was about getting a team together and executing a project. So what was this project that I chose? The project that I chose was to create an area PR team. Now, the goal of the area PR team was pretty simple, and this is how we executed it. Before I go ahead and execute the plan, I would also like to mention I would also specially like to thank Toastmaster Crystal and multiple Toastmasters who helped me execute this plan and who helped me make this speech possible. So what went wrong in this second part of the speech, in the second part of the project? Just like when I was the president, I found the same problems upcoming when I was in the part of the area PR. Now, this got me asking the same question again. Is it me assigning the wrong work, or is it the problem with the delegates? Sooner or later, I realized that whenever a project fails, it is never because of the incompetence of some person. It is always because of the problems of these three things: a clear goal, a clear role, and clear communication. So let's start with the goal of my area PR team. Our goal was very simple and very straightforward: to publicize Area F1. We started with the common goal in mind. But here is the problem with the common goal. If it is not cleared out in the beginning, people may have different interpretations of how to execute the same goal. For you, it might be for you, an area PR might entail that we need to create more posters or we need to create more social media presence. For someone else, it would be to increase the word of mouth guests that we have for each and every club. Because of these differences in interpretations of the same goal, the work executed and the work goal that you might have may not be fulfilled. This was the first problem that I had identified. Problem number 2, the role. After recognizing the first problem, I thought about what each and every person's role in the PR team was. If the role is not clear, assigning work becomes very difficult. The assigning question, the work question to be asked, shouldn't be who is supposed to fulfill a task. But later I realized that the question to be asked was who is responsible for an outcome. This small shift in paradigm made a huge difference. In the first few days, I kept on assigning tasks, but this did not fulfill anyone's goals. But when I started assigning responsibilities, and when I started assigning responsibilities to a person, we all started enjoying the work together. Problem number 3, the communication. I believe that this is where I lack the most. The communication part, even if the goal and your role is very clear, if you don't communicate it well, it will never work out. Now, there is this common bias that we have in communication, which is called as the illusion of transparency. What does illusion of transparency mean? Basically, illusion of transparency means that the thought that you have in your head is the same thought that is the same way how everyone else interprets that one thought. The goal that I had was to publicize Area F1 more. Now, again, everyone will interpret this differently. And if how I interpret it is not communicated well, then no one will work on the same thing. Even if everyone gives an 110%, the goal may not be reached. These were the 3 problems that I identified within myself. And this is how this project helped me. I would like to thank Toastmaster Crystal, who led the area PR team, Toastmaster Vaishnavi, Toastmaster Vaishnavi, and Toastmaster Mehak, who were a part of this. After all these 3 points, sooner or later, I also realized that it took me back to the same first question that I had. When a leader assigns a role, what exactly is it that they assign? Is it the work? Is it the responsibility? Or is it the outcome? And after learning from working with all these amazing members, I realized that it's a combination of each and not just the first one. The role of a leader is to make the goal clearer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kalika, for that wonderful speech. May I now invite a timer to present the timer's report?
Hi. Yeah, Kalika, just 5 minutes. 5 minutes, 1 second.
Okay, great. Our evaluators now will move into breakout room to consolidate their feedback. Let us use this next 1 minute to give feedback to our speaker. Please fill in the Google form shared by our VP Education over the WhatsApp. Meantime, I'll post it on the chat and we can always use that for the feedback for speaker 1. I hope everybody might have received the link. I hope everyone is using this 1 minute to fill the feedback form for speaker 1, Toastmaster Kalika. That has been shared on the WhatsApp group as well as the chat box. Lara ma'am, is 1 minute over?
And just show the red flag.
Sure.
Can you see? Is it visible?
No, ma'am.
1 second. Yeah.
Sure. As the timer indicates, 1 minute is up. Meantime, the evaluator 1, Toastmaster Daryl, and evaluator 2, Toastmaster Maria, have been moved to the breakout room, and as second speaker will take on from here on. Our second speaker today is Toastmaster Divya.
Divya.
Yes, Divya, Toastmaster Divya. And the purpose of the project is for the member to introduce themselves to the club and learn the basic public speech. The speech title of the speech presented today, so just a second. Yes. The speech title is The Courage to Change Paths, and the path level is Dynamic Leadership. Level 1, Project 1, First Speech. It's an icebreaker speech, and as per Toastmaster rule, Once the icebreaker speech will be done, we'll we'll give a standing ovation to the speaker. Timer, please note, since it's
Yeah,
a
yeah, 4,
icebreaker,
5, 6.
4, 5, 6
5,
seconds.
6 and 30 seconds.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Over to you, speaker 2, Divya D'Souza. The courage to change paths. The courage to change paths, Divya D'Souza.
Long, long time ago, in a distant, faraway Arab land, Saudi Arabia, was born a child of Indian origin to her parents' delight, the apple of her father's eye, and she truly was pampered by everyone around her. This little girl grew on believing that she can do anything, and soon afterwards, she was joined by her little sister and little brother, and she took on her role as the elder sister very seriously. Years later, this little girl, who believed in herself, was also one of the most naughtiest kids in school. And at every now and then, her father would find himself in the principal's office. Mr. D'Souza, your daughter has beaten up a boy once again. And this girl, who believed that she could do anything as good as a boy, being a girl, she did it perfectly well. She washed cars, she played football, she broke a few bones, and also broke a few teeth of her boyfriends. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, that little girl, that naughty little girl was me. I feel very sorry looking back at my poor father. All those countless trips back to the headmaster's office, and every time coming back, listening to all of those complaints patiently, quietly, but walking out with me with a smile on his face made me believe that I have nothing to worry about. But the story back home was not the same. There would I have my mother standing there with her big eyes and a big scale. What is your story this time? Have you no shame? Is this the way a girl is supposed to behave? Well, as I said, I believed that I could do anything. And I soon started learning the tricks of the trade, learning everything that I could in that land in Saudi Arabia, with the limited resources that I had. But soon I came to Mangalore and I joined St. Mary's School. And there, although I had to adjust to all of the new ways of how it was in India, I loved the freedom and exposure we had to art, to music. And still, my mom now had to visit the principal's office every now and then, the poor lady. And soon I discovered that as the days went by, I wanted to take up science because I believed in computer science and I loved the way animation and cartoons were. So I took up science, but soon I realized in college that it wasn't what I thought it would be. Instead of all the animated graphics, all I was exposed to was coding, and more coding. Well, that path led me to becoming a software programmer in Wipro. But somehow it was not for me. It didn't make me feel fulfilled as I wanted to feel. And soon I started developing spondylitis at the young age of 22. Even my body seemed to be objecting. I finally decided maybe it's time for me to make a change. And then just before I was deciding to quit, I had an opportunity to go to take up a project in the US. Everybody was excited. But then I was thinking to myself, if I go down this path, there's no turning back. So I took a few moments, a few days, and then I finally took my decision. I decided to quit. My dad was furious. My mom was very upset with me. The person who was always there with me every time, for the first time, he said, "Are you mad? Do you know what you're doing? All that money, all of that is all going to be a waste. And this is what you're going to do? Now on, you're on your own." Shocked and heartbroken, I realized that now I'm on my own, but I took the courage to change my path. From software, I went into sales. I went and worked in JTM as a sales programmer, selling mobile connections. Then from sales, I went to operations. From operations, exploring newer possibilities. I started seeing people all around me and I started wondering, I'm enjoying myself, but everybody seems to be climbing straight ladders. And my life seemed to be like jungle gym. Was I doing something right? Or was I doing something wrong? But along that journey, I realized that my paths, everything taught me something. Software taught me systems. Sales taught me communication. And most importantly, operations taught me problem solving. And that brought me to understanding who I am as a person, because wherever I was, whatever I did, the one thing I realized about myself is I loved working with people, helping them to believe in themselves, helping them to learn new perspectives. And that curiosity brought me closer to NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming, where I started becoming a reprogrammer of people's minds. Because NLP helps your thoughts, your behaviors, and actions to change the way you think and also change the way your outcomes are for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, all through those journey, one thing I realized that all those different paths were not mistakes. They were, in fact, preparation. Because helping people change the way they think, you need systems, you need operations, and you also need to understand the human behavior. I took that courage to change my path. And because of that, I found myself. I didn't lose my way changing career paths. I found who I truly wanted to be and who I wanted to become. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you're at crossroads wondering whether you need to take a change or make a pivot, take that leap of faith. Believe in yourself, and you may be just pleasantly surprised. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Divya, for that wonderful speech. May I now request timer Toastmaster Lyra
Yeah,
Pinto present the timer
yeah.
report.
Divya took 6 minutes 36 seconds. She just crossed by six,
Yes,
by
by
6 seconds.
right.
Yeah,
So
it's left to your.
yes. So thank you so much, Lyra ma'am, for presenting that timer's report. Our evaluators will be now move into the breakout room to consolidate their feedback. Evaluator 3 and Evaluator 4, that is Toastmaster Vijay and Toastmaster Kiran, will be moved out to the breakout room. And meantime, I'll request all the Toastmasters to give the feedback for Speaker 2, Toastmaster Divya. I hope you have all received the link that has been shared on the WhatsApp group. And meantime, I'll post the link over the chat. May I request the Zoom moderator to please move Evaluator 3 and 4 to the breakout room?
The second feedback has Kalika's name towards the end. Please ignore that, but that message is for Divya.
I'm still here. Please move me out.
It's a minute.
Yes. May I request Zoom moderators?
Vatsa, are you here?
Yeah, I'll help in moving.
And I would request you to please bring in Evaluator 1 to the room back, please.
Ashima, can you
Yes,
also
sir.
move me to the...
Just a minute, just a minute.
Yes, yes.
I'm unable to move. Just a minute, I'm checking.
Yeah, both are sent. WhatsApp.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Evaluator 1, I need to get in, right?
Yes, yes, yes. We now arrive at the defining moment of this club, the evaluation session. A great evaluator listens not just to words, but to intention. They identify what worked, why it worked, and how the speaker can become even stronger. Because when evaluation is done well, it becomes a gift. The speech delivered by speaker 1, Kalika, will be evaluated by evaluators 1, Daryl Rodricks, Toastmaster Daryl Rodricks, and evaluator 2, Toastmaster Maria, ma'am. This, may I request Daryl to please go ahead and...
Yeah, just give me 1 minute, Ashima.
Yes.
Stress. What can I do? Kiran and Vijay are in the...
Yes, let's do a little AV check, Daryl.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, please go ahead.
Will the timer also be spotlighted?
Yeah, that's it. Please spotlight page.
Setting, if I had to derive a mathematical equation after listening to Toastmaster Kalika's speech, I would say setting goals is equal to greater success. Congratulations, Toastmaster Kalika, on delivering a speech that drove home that message for me. Let me start by telling you what stood out, and there are 3 highlights I'd like to share. The first is how you started. You asked us a question: when leadership is handed over to you, what do you consider it to be? Work, responsibility, or outcome? And that got me thinking, and that captured my attention. I wanted to hear more. The second is how authentic your speech was, because your speech revolved around you, your responsibility, and your leadership. It was relatable to an extent because all of us have been leaders in some organization or even in Toastmasters. We have donned the hat of a leader and we have taken up responsibility. So I was able to clearly put myself in your shoe and relate to your story. The third aspect is your stage movement. Now you clearly had 3 problems, and I could tell that confidently now because you divided the stage into 3 sections and used it effectively. You also had aspects where you wanted us to closely introspect by coming forward and then going back and delivering it normally. So kudos on these three aspects. Now, any architectural design needs to be reworked upon. And as an evaluator, I'm here to give you a few recommendations so you can probably rework on your architectural design when it comes to delivering speeches. And the first aspect is vocal variety. Now, I clearly said you had three problems, but if you could have reinforced it with with a louder tone, I would probably remember it more. Because if you ask me, I just remember the third one, which was about poor communication. So reinforcing it more or having conversation with your area PR chair, Crystal, telling her, Crystal, can we do this? Some area did this and it worked for them. So that way we would also we want to hear more and how it worked for you. The second is a call to action, strong call to action, because I felt your conclusion was a little abrupt and you left us hanging. Could you tell us what we can do more to delegate better? For example, how can we chart out a plan? How can we know our goal and delegate better? The third is your title, the architecture of delegation. And when I heard that, I knew you were going to talk about delegation. But could you have reworded it, say, delegate it to win it? So I would want to know, okay, what did she delegate? How did she win? Can I do that? Let me conclude and congratulate Toastmaster Kalika on delivering a speech that had an amazing hook. It was authentic and delivered effectively using the stage. A little more work on vocal variety, a stronger call to action, and probably a curious title will enhance your speech. Toastmaster Kalika, thank you for teaching us that setting goals can lead to greater success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Daryl, for that wonderful evaluation. Let us use this next 1 minute to give feedback to our evaluator. I would request Zoom moderator to kindly please bring back evaluator to Toastmaster Maria for the next evaluation. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lyra, for giving us a heads up. May I request Toastmaster Maria to evaluate our speaker one, Kalika? Can we do a little mic AV check, please?
Yes.
Great.
Am I
Yes.
audible? Okay. Nothing great is ever achieved without enthusiasm, says Ralph Waldo Emerson. Toastmaster Kalika, the energy and enthusiasm you displayed from start till the end was amazing. And I'm sure you were very well prepared as you stood up and spoke about your own experience, even offering thanks to the team that helped you. Your speech title was heavy and intriguing, but as you began your speech with a question, you held my attention. The way you started your speech showcased your preparedness. And, for example, you spoke about the 3 goals very clearly, a clear goal, a clear role, and communication. Right from start to finish, you were confident. However, you used the same tone for those 5 minutes, 1 second that you continued your speech. You could have changed your tone in between. Coming to your gestures were good, but once, at least 4 times, you held your hands together. You could have used your gestures right from start to finish to your advantage. Your facial expression matched what you were saying about the delegation and how it out. It was a difficult project, but you did really well. Your tone was the same. In summation, I would like to say you stood up with enthusiasm and confidently delivered your speech with zeal and zest. You narrated your life experience, you were well prepared, and you had proficiency of language when you spoke about the paradigm shift. Your speech could be much better if you used your gestures to your advantage, changed your tone when required, and used the entire time, that is 7 minutes, to your advantage. However, there are characteristics of a great speaker in you, and definitely your journey is going to be a great one. Well done, Kalika, and all the best to grow better. Over, I can't see the timer. Is my time up?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. You're within time. Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
May I request timer to please present the timer report?
Yeah. Daryl took 3 minutes 18 seconds, and Maria Dcosta took 3 minutes 5 seconds.
Thank you
Both
so
are
much.
qualified.
Yes. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Toastmaster Lyra, for presenting the timer report. May I now request to please take 1 minute to evaluate, fill the feedback form for the evaluators 1 and 2. Meantime, I may request the Zoom moderator to please bring in evaluator 3, Toastmaster Kiran, to the meeting back, please.
I have a question. Can I be seen as a timer?
No.
No, all can see. I can see myself.
Ma'am, your
We will
I think
spotlight you,
she's on
Lyra.
she's on her phone. That's why maybe she
No.
can't.
No. I'm on my laptop because
No,
I've
no,
kept myself
Maria
as
ma'am. Maria
Yeah,
ma'am.
she's on her.
Yeah.
She's on her. Yeah, that's the reason.
Perhaps, yeah.
Because all could see.
Sorry. The very fact I used my phone, I could give my evaluation.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving the heads up. May I request Zoom moderator to please bring in? Yes, thank you so much. Please help me welcome our third evaluator, Toastmaster Kiran, to evaluate speaker number 2, Toastmaster Divya. May I request for a Navy check? I am a champion evaluator.
I am a champion evaluator.
Thank you so much.
May I start?
Please go ahead. Yes, please.
This was an icebreaker. Wait. I'm sure most of you must have got the same feeling that I got. This was not just an icebreaker. This was an ice melter. What worked well? Why did it work? Let's find out that. Divya was in her top form today. And she started with the storytelling mode, which is a beautiful way to start, especially for icebreakers. And then the way she used the tone changes every now and then. You remember the principal, Mr. D'Souza, suddenly the voice becomes stern. And then when she comes back home, the mother with the stick, have you no shame? I could literally see her mother on screen. So she made us really believe this, illustrated it so well. We could visualize it, we could connect so well. And then she brings in that dip. From all that fun, mischief, bubbly girl, we come to that dip where she had so many options. She kicked those options away and chose to follow her heart. And that was beautifully brought out when she chose logistics, operations, and selling. She has really used every skill a Toastmaster can do. And sure, she will also want to know what can be done better. Because in an icebreaker, we know, we understand who they are, what shaped them, and what they value. And that was brought out so well. Just a couple of suggestions for you, Divya. This being an online thing, I am also not comfortable here. But if you could use a little more space ahead, we couldn't see your face very clearly because your punchlines got lost. So if you can see the camera when you're talking to us, try to do that next time. Also, I know it is too much for asking for an icebreaker, but for you, you are an ISC champion material. Try to use props. You will work beautifully in this. However, not taking anything away from that beautiful little icebreaker, when you said, I found myself, I thought that was powerful. When you said, take a leap of faith, believe in yourself, I got motivated. You have the material for a champion. I wish you all the best. This was not just an icebreaker, it was certainly an ice melter. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Evaluator 3 Toastmaster Kiran, for that insightful and thoughtful evaluation. Let us use this next 1 minute to give feedback to our evaluator. And I would request Zoom moderator to kindly please bring back Evaluator 4 to the meeting. Thank you so much for indicating that 1 minute is up. May I request the Evaluator 4, Toastmaster Vijay, to evaluate Speaker 2, Toastmaster Divya. Can we have a little AV check? I am a champion evaluator.
I am a champion evaluator.
Thank you. The stage is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Ashima Jain. Good evening, Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and my dear speaker, Toastmaster Divya D'Souza. Since you are a seasoned Toastmaster, you did your icebreaker speech in style in terms of storytelling, delivery, and also the language usage. Let us see. First of all, I want to tell you are a master storyteller. From the beginning of your speech to end of the speech, you used short stories, whether if you take whether you take your birth or school days or college or coming to the job and career change, all you used storytelling method which helped hooked all of us to with your speech. Second, coming to the movement, today you had a master class for us. Even though it's a limited space, every story you used a different place, and even some place sometimes you come forward to ensure that we are all with you in your speeches. Kudos to you. Coming to the third point, your language usage is today it is absolutely on high notch. For example, apple of father's eyes, have leap of faith, reprogram the mind to change the behaviors, actions. Thank you, Divya, for all these language usage. And coming to the recommendation, always you are a bundle of energy, but today I felt that energy was missing. If you could have brought more enthusiasm, more energy, this speech could have had to the different level. Coming to my second recommendation, but I could not be able to get the details of your family members since it's icebreaker speech. We are all new members of this club. It could have added more value if you could have added few more details of your family members. Uh, However, I don't want to coming to the summary of the of your speech. You are a master storyteller, effective movement in the speech delivery, and enhanced, enriched language used in the speech. Coming to the recommendation, if you could have add more details, your family members, and have high energy, high enthusiasm to deliver, it could have made this speech to great level. However, I don't want to take your zeal to give the speech. I want you to come often to this stage and give speeches more and more. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vijay, for evaluating Toastmaster Divya. May I now request everyone to vote for the best speaker and the evaluator. The link is being shared.
Let's do the feedback for Vijay first, Ashima,
Yes.
and then I'll share.
Yes.
And the
Please.
timers report.
Yes, please. Timers report as well. Sorry.
Yeah. Shall I go on? Shall
Yes,
I go
ma'am.
ahead? Yeah.
Yes.
Kiran Vasant took 2 minutes 36 seconds, and Vijay Prabhudevan took 2 minutes 56 seconds, and both are qualified for voting.
Thank you so much. And I would request everyone to first give the feedback for the evaluator for Toastmaster Vijay, and then we'll have a voting link. May I request everyone to please use the Google form that has been posted by Daryl over the chat for voting the best speaker and the best evaluator. As we have a disqualification, so we will not be having voting link for the speakers. I hope everyone has voted.
Let's just wait
Can
for
we-
30 more seconds and then we can move on.
Yes, yes.
So the panel discussion is 22 minutes, right, Daryl?
That's the
Lyra.
time you can, panel moderator will ask you. What
Yeah, I'll let you know how to time it.
Yeah, okay.
As the timer indicates, the time is up, and I hope everyone has voted our best evaluator. Kindly give a thumbs up if everybody is done with the voting, please. Thank you. Here is our next segment, the panel evaluation session. And now we arrive at the signature feature of our club, the panel evaluation session. Most Toastmasters meetings end with a single evaluation, but here we go one step further. We believe feedback becomes richer when multiple perspectives come together because every evaluator notices something different. To guide this discussion, we have someone who exemplifies evaluation excellence. Please join in welcoming our panel moderator, Toastmaster Jyothika Shetty, and panelist Toastmaster Nikhil and Toastmaster CK Ballal.
Thank you very much, Ashima. Thank you very much.
It's all yours. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Let's just spotlight. Right. All right, we have Lyra, we have 22 minutes for the evaluation. We will take 5 minutes, 30 seconds for each of the speaker. When I say each of the speaker, each of the evaluator. Okay, so there are 4 evaluators and we will take 5 minutes, 30 seconds each. So 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
All right, thank you. So warm welcome, distinguished Toastmaster Nikhil and distinguished Toastmaster CK Ballal to the panel. We had 2 speakers today. We had first speaker, that is Kalika, and second speaker, Toastmaster Divya, who gave her icebreaker. Our first evaluator for the first speaker was Daryl. So we will analyze Daryl for the next 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 seconds. So first, keeping in mind the paucity of time, let's try to be brief and try to cover as many questions as possible. So I'll start with Nikhil. Nikhil, please, if you could tell me 2 things that really stood out for you in this particular evaluation, what would it be?
All right. Before I do, may I know the time that I have, or is it free flowing?
It's free flowing, but I think let's keep it for about 20 seconds, 20 to 25 seconds each, so
All
that we
right.
can
Okay.
cover as much as possible.
Okay, got it. Okay. 2 things that stood out for me in Daryl's evaluation would be first is the structure that he brought to the evaluation. The structure forms the backbone. He gave a nice intro and did a callback at the end of the summation as well. So I like the structure and the way he gave his feedback. The second is his recommendation, especially one point of recommendation. I think we'll go to the recommendation later, but I like the fact that he was focused on improving and adding value to the speaker than just sugarcoating it. So these 2
Very
things
good.
really stood out for me the most.
Thank you, Nikhil. Dr. Ballal, what are the two things that really stood out for you in Daryl's evaluation?
What stood out the most for me was his very positive opening in the evaluation and saying that she did what she had set out to do, and congratulating her on telling that she took this difficult task of, setting her goals and seeing, what she could do and how she could delegate. This is what I found was a novel way of very clearly analyzing. So there was good analytical quality right at the beginning.
All right, thank you. Now, there are three highs which the evaluator mentioned. How she started, it was authentic, and the stage movement. Now, when we look at the analytical quality of this evaluation per se, Nikhil, do you think that did this contain depth as far as the analytical is concerned, quality is concerned?
All right. In specific to the commendations with the 3 points that our evaluator mentioned, I agreed on the third point, and I think we can discuss on the first 2 points. Do we have the time to do it now?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
All
Please go
right. I
ahead.
think the first point that our evaluator mentioned is how the speaker started with a hook. Great. Good job done on the hook aspect of commendations. But I felt that he could have amplified and taken it to a different level by saying the callback method that the speaker used. It's good to mention a hook as a commendation, but the speaker actually used the callback method, and that could have really added more value to the speaker saying that good job done on the circling part. That's something that the evaluator could have done better. Second, I noticed that the evaluator mentioned that the speaker was very authentic. Great. I think the speaker used a personal story. It was her project. I felt that the point was kind of diluted when the speaker said authenticity. It was a personal story, it was authentic. However, commenting more on the fluency, on the language aspect is something that I would have commended as an evaluator. I would have probably said authenticity as an intro point, not really as a main point, because that just took away an extra point as an evaluator. So those are two things the evaluator could have done better. However, I strongly agree on the stage movement. With the limited space that the speaker had, she really demonstrated good stage utilization in point 1, point 2, and point 3. So in totality, I agree with the third point. The first and second point could have been amplified much better, in my opinion. Over to you,
All right. Thank
Moderator.
you. Thank you, Nikhil. Dr. Ballal, what about you? What do you think could have been done better as far as the commendation is concerned?
Yes. I felt that Daryl could have considered asking Kalika to give personal examples. The whole talk was very general on the three aspects, delegation and saying this, that, and the other to the team. She did not name anyone. Even if she did not name anyone, he could have recommended Kalika to bring out personal examples where he felt that she could have done better. For example, if she delegated job to someone, how they did not do it and what she did about it, and how she realized that she was not doing things properly and what she learned from it. Personal examples is what I feel makes her speech better, and Daryl could have considered pointing that out.
All right. That is on the recommendation aspect, right? We're still on the commendation. So, all right, let's go to the recommendation then. So, what you're saying is that he could have probably highlighted the personal examples. She could have given personal examples. Whereas he spoke about vocal variety, the call to action, and the title. These are the three things that he said. Do you agree with the recommendations that he made?
No, I think there was no vocal variety. I really feel there was hardly any vocal variety. In the speech, it was monotonous, as pointed out.
That's what he recommended. He said that the vocal variety could have been amplified
Yes.
by reinforcing.
But he did
with
not
louder
bring it
voice.
out as to how she could have done it.
Okay.
He could have
Okay.
given an example on how she could have done, because that statement is very. And the other point that I feel in the recommendation is he suggested her to change the title. That's one thing is a no in Toastmasters, because the speaker has a title. She has chosen the title. And I personally feel I would never ask a person to change the title, but he could have asked her to consider how to bring in what she wanted to say within that title.
Okay. All right.
Because the title is personal.
All right. Thank you very much. What about you, Nikhil? Do you have anything to add on the recommendations?
Yes, absolutely. So let's break it down all the 3 points one by one. The first was the vocal variety, and our evaluator mentioned the speaker would have used a louder tone. I agree with Ballal sir where he said that there was no specific example. However, this is something I would have done, Daryl. There's a generic point called vocal variety. Then there's a specific point called pitch. And with the pitch, you give an example to demonstrate where the speaker could have amplified the pitch up or down. That would have been a better way to give a recommendation, right? Now, second point is something that I agree. You said call to action, the conclusion was abrupt. With you on that, I think the speaker had more time and leverage to solidify the conclusion so that all of us have some takeaway, right? That's something I agree on. However, like Ballal sir said on the title part, we don't recommend it. However, what I would have done differently if you had to do this is you still took the same route of saying delegate to win it as a suggestion, right? It still has the word delegate. So where's the suspense element in it? So I think in terms of recommendation, it didn't really catch well with the title change. If I were you, I would have said to do or not to do. It doesn't give up with the word delegate, right? Even if you have to recommend it. Otherwise, let's not even use the title recommendation, in my opinion. So I think I agree with the call to action, but not so much with the pitch, with the example and the title recommendation. That's
All
from my
right.
end.
Okay, so quickly the red lights are up. So quickly, let's see if the speaker, if the evaluator did the summation well. Do you have a better recommendation for the summation, Nikhil?
No, I think the summation was perfect. It would call back to
Well,
the intro, so I love the summation.
okay. Dr. Ballal, DTM Ballal, what about you?
Summation appeared a little bit hurried to me, a little bit hurried. Could have taken his time and, it's kind of pacing it a little bit.
All
Because
right.
I think this is my general, I'm going to answer that question right away for everyone. We are doing it too much by the book, you see. And when you do end up too much by the book, it appears as if you're not comfortable with yourself. So I think one should not say, I'm summarizing, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Coming to body language, it should be a flow. It should be a flow. And the listeners should realize they're talking about body language, talking about stage placement, and that you're finally giving a summary. You can say to encapsulate instead of saying to summarize. A different kind of wording to bring about, so that people understand what you're saying.
All right. Thank you very much. I think with this, I'll just recap on what both of you have added to the evaluator. Distinguished Toastmaster Daryl, our evaluators, like you heard, mentioned that you had a great structure and the recommendation with a positive opening. If only you could take a little bit, you could pay attention on good stage. I think the callback is what Nikhil mentioned. He liked the callback part of it, right? Or right, callback part of it, and he also commended on your fluency. If you can demonstrate whenever you give some recommendations, if you could also demonstrate and also conclude it with like DTM Ballal mentioned, a little bit more fluency on rather than just saying that this is the recommendation that I have. This I probably think that, which our panelists think that would take your analytical quality to the next level. So in conclusion, I think a bit of recommendation, a little bit of demonstration with examples would probably help. And when recommending titles, you could probably give it a little bit of thought and either do it a little differently or probably completely avoid it. Nikhil, yes. Would you like to
Yes, I
close?
think one thing that we could also commend him for is the transition. I like the fact that he transitioned from the commendations to recommendations using what the speaker told about the architecture, right? To about redesigning the plan. That's something I really like. That stands out from the rest of the people that gave evaluation. So that's something I really liked in the transition bit.
Right. All right. Thank you very much, Nikhil. Let's now move on to our second evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster Maria, who took 3 minutes, 5 seconds for her evaluation. What are those things, DTM Ballal, that stood out for you? Or rather, let's just stick to two of the main points that stood out in this particular evaluation.
For me, starting with the quote that she had, which kind of clearly showed that she understood the speech well. And the analysis, I like the analysis of the title itself with the quote.
Okay.
That is what stood out to me. And the confidence in the evaluation. She appeared very confident as she evaluated the speech.
All right. Nikhil, what about you? What are the elements, two elements, if you can pick?
All right, I'll just take a leaf out of what Ballal sir said about the quote. The quote was in sync with her first commendation about enthusiasm. Nothing great is achieved without enthusiasm. It was linked. So it's not just an abrupt quote, right? So that's something I want to commend our evaluator for. Second is I agree with both the points of recommendations. So in terms of analytical quality and the terms of adding value to the speaker, I agreed with the recommendation. So these two things really stood out for me.
All right. Now that you have mentioned about the analytical quality, what stood out here is also the transition from the commendation to the recommendation. Do you think that the transition could have been better? Nikhil?
I felt that there was, I didn't find clarity. In my opinion, I did not find clarity from commendation to recommendation. So that's why I mentioned I like the analytical quality in the recommendation. That's
All
what I
right.
meant to say. So the
All
transition
right.
bit could have been more clearer.
Okay. So in as far as recommendation is concerned, she spoke about, I mean, here she spoke about recommendation and she brought in the commendation again. So it was one
Hmm.
after the other.
Yeah.
Do you think that was clear for you or something else could have been?
I'm glad you brought out this point. There's something that I would like to suggest as well. Our speaker, our evaluator, added a point of commendation and recommendation in the summation, which did not come in the evaluation aspect, especially the point of proficiency in language as a commendation, and use an entire, use the entire time as a new point in the summation. So I agree with what you're saying, Jyothika. The summation was not in sync with the evaluation. There were new points added.
Right, that's a third point, Nikhil. But what I realized in the recommendation is that, for example,
Mhm.
gestures were good, but held hand together. Facial expressions matched. So she was justifying the recommendations that she gave. So it was the
It,
same tone. It could have changed, and you did well. Your tone was not the same. So she was kind of justifying what she was saying. Do you think it's good for or evaluators should avoid justifying their recommendation?
All right, I think this is a little tightrope to walk on. This is something I do personally. When you're recommending, go all out with the intention to just improve the speaker. But I felt that Evaluator was trying to motivate the speaker here a little bit as well. That's the kind of intention I got from our evaluator, where she was saying, this is something you did well, but this also happened. So I think that little bit of a tightrope she was walking on could have been avoided, but I think she was trying to motivate the speaker to boost her confidence, is what I gained. Something I wouldn't do in a contest, but in a meeting to evaluate the speaker, that's okay in this particular meeting.
All right. What about you, Dr. Ballal? What do you think? The recommendation could
Yeah,
have been
it's
structured
always a
better?
tightrope, more, whether you're evaluating to motivate or whether you're evaluating for a competition. You see, that's the malady that we suffer from, is going too much by the book or doing it for the sake of the speaker to make the speaker a better person. So when you do too much by the book, you win, but you don't do justice to the evaluation to the speaker. When you go your own style, then people look into it where you're mixed up recommendation, commendation, and all that. But what does the speaker think about it? See, that is what is important. And that is what Nikhil brought about. That she's trying to be gentle and trying to tell the speaker, you're not so bad after all. You really done it well. So that's what happens, you see. And I certainly felt that she was a little bit hurried because in doing all that, I must say, I must bring it back to say that her summary suffered.
All right. And as far as the summary, Nikhil has already touched upon the summation part of it, where I think she brought in points that were not covered by the commendations or recommendations. So, in under these circumstances, DTM Ballal, what do you suggest an evaluator does? Because not everybody is the same. So,
Yes, absolutely. You just taken it out from me. There's nothing wrong in bringing a new point in summation. What's wrong? You not brought it out earlier, so you bring it later. Hello, hey, there's just one more thing I like to tell you. You can add a new point. That's the novelty that you have and the Toastmasters license that you have, even as an evaluator. So it doesn't mean that you have two recommendations, three recommendations, two commendations, summarize it all. And no, 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 no.
Nikhil, I would like to hear your views in contradiction to Dr. Ballal's, if you have one to contradict.
I think I agree to disagree here to a little extent. I get that we should not all go by the book, but having been on the district stage 2 years in a row, having won the championship, I can speak from experience that judges look for clarity in summation. The minute they hear a different point of view, it's too much, right? You're thinking, okay, why the new point? Even in debates, we don't put a new point in our closing statement. So I agree that we should not always go by the book here, sir. But I felt that somehow a little point here and there, so I wrote a new point at the end instead of just summarizing my thoughts. So I think that could have been avoided. But I get your point of view, right? I get it why you're saying not by the book, but I think agree to disagree here.
Judges have to change a little bit. Judges have to change a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. While our debate panelists have their pact to agree to disagree. I think we will just summarize this by saying that DTM Maria, you came out as a very confident speaker because you started off with a quote, and I think that kind of struck the chord well. Your analytical quality was good. However, if you could create a clear demarcation between what you want to commend and what you want to recommend, that will bring in clarity as well. Summation, if you could stick to the points that have been told. However, our panelists do disagree with each other. But I think going by what has been done traditionally with Toastmasters or the way we learn, I think it's always good to bring back the points, because the whole point of summation is to remind the speaker that this is what I have said and this is what you can take home. However, I think this is the way we concluded. But if you have to give, I mean, I think I've not done the marking for the first evaluator, so I better avoid that part of it. Let's now move on to the third evaluator, that is Distinguished Toastmaster Kiran Vasant, who evaluated Divya, Toastmaster Divya's icebreaker. Now, this was an icebreaker, and we all say that icebreaker must be as encouraging as possible. So do you think Distinguished Toastmaster was encouraging, and what did he do well in this encouragement? Nikhil.
Should I go ahead?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think with DTM Kiran, there was this kind of presence with not just the words, but the body language that really motivated the speaker. That's the icebreaker speaker, right? Banger of an opening where the speaker told not just an icebreaker, but an ice melter, different perspective to it. So from my, so two things that stood out for me is the points of commendations where the speaker went generously to motivate the speaker in the commendations. The recommendations, I don't agree so much. I like the summation and the entire commendations. Those two things really stood out for me.
All right. DTM Ballal,
Yeah,
what went well for you in this evaluation?
Yes, I tend to be biased when I speak about Kiran because I've known him for many, many years. But the most outstanding quality in his evaluation was the enthusiasm, particularly for an icebreaker. If the evaluator is not enthusiastic, the icebreaker speaker goes away demotivated. So he brought it out very well with his tone, with his body language, and I found that the stage presence of an evaluator. That is to say that I'm here to come and tell you. See, that's what came out very clearly. Analysis and the whole of it came out well.
All right. Talking about the analysis, he spoke about what went well. He started off by saying storytelling mode, the tone that she changed, and the dip that she had used towards the end. Is there anything else that he could have done to highlight it, Dr. Ballal, to accentuate the entire quality of evaluation?
Yeah, I mean, the usual stereotyped kind of suggestions that you could have moved here and there, which you did. You'd have come closer to this and closer to that, away from this and closer to this, very stereotyped that everyone does, which he did. But what he could have done better was to say that, we came to know about your family, because she did mention that she had two sibs and that she moved, the transition. So that, that is what in an icebreaker is very important. It's not just a story. We come to know about her family. And also he could have just added in the recommendations, I'm just divulging a little bit, as to how she could have stayed within the time, by reducing the number of events that she narrated. She could have cut it down because the matter was there. The matter was there. She could have done the same job with a fewer examples.
All right. What about you, Nikhil? What do you think? Do you think that the evaluation quality, the analytical quality and the commendation was sufficient?
Okay, we'll start with the commendations. I agree with most of it. The storytelling aspect, the tone with the demonstration. I love when the evaluator demonstrated the tone of the principal and a mom. Very well done as the evaluator. The dip is something that I liked because it's good to have the storytelling curve, right? The dip is something I liked. Two things that I would have added, I'm just suggesting as my point of view. The language stood out for me. I think if somewhere the evaluator could have mentioned about the language and the message as well. Not everywhere do you see a message at the end of an icebreaker. Speaker was able to bring it out. So that really stood out for me. Now, coming to the recommendations, can I do the recommendations as well?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so two things, right? Our evaluator mentioned the expressions that the speaker could have come closer. For me, they were visible. I think it could have been a technical glitch, but for me, this expressions on her face was very visible. It was in sync with what she was trying to say. So that's something I liked about Divya. Second, I think the evaluator mentioned about getting props. Um, it was very generic, like what props, where, and how would it help the speaker? So I disagreed with the props and the expressions about the recommendations. In my opinion, the recommendation would be every time our speaker Divya thinks and moves on the stage, her tendency is to look either down or up. I noticed that as a pattern, not just at one instance, but 2 to 3 instances. That just creates a disconnect. So I think that's one recommendation. And second would be emoting, right? There was one aspect where the speaker said, I was shocked and heartbroken. And I could see a smile on the face. A little bit of tonal variety, a little more less energy would have helped. So these two recommendations I would have said. Avoid the thinking and not maintain eye contact and emoting better. That those two would be, in my opinion, ideal recommendations. Over to you.
Okay. Uh, what about Dr. Ballal? Would you have anything to add to Nikhil's suggestions?
Can you say that again, please?
Do you have anything to add in case if you have any point to add to Nikhil's suggestions? Did you observe anything more than what was already recommended by the speaker?
Not really, not really.
All right. There's one thing that I realized, that summation was missing. In the entire evaluation, the summation was missing. What do you have to say, Nikhil?
I don't know. I have written well summarized. I think the I don't know why I mean, I just want to
because
hear another perspective here.
what was brought in towards the end is you have material for championship. That was the summation. Whereas the points that the points that he had mentioned was not brought back. So technically there was no summation there. Probably you have missed it out, Nikhil, there.
Could be then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dr. Ballal, would you like to say something
Yeah,
there?
I somehow missed it. How much time did Kiran take?
2 minutes
2
and
minutes
36
36
seconds.
seconds.
Yeah, so he had another 1 minute, and you could have delved on the summation a little bit more. He could have done it because he was all praise and less of commendations, and he could have done that and then reiterated in the summation. I agree with you, summation was lacking, but I think he was overwhelmed by Divya's icebreaker and the storytelling technique.
All right. Now, let's not forget that this is a project speech. This is not an international speech. So let's just look at the objectives that we set for an icebreaker. Do you think that an evaluator can also comment, or rather should comment, to help the speaker to see if they have met, to confirm whether they have met the objectives or not? Dr. Ballal.
Yes, they can. They can if they've missed some of the objectives. Like I straight away go on to the next person that you're going to ask her to speak about. Like Prabhudevan said, she did not mention about a family, which she did actually. So things like that. It was, those are the things that we ask an icebreaker to do and say. And perhaps an icebreaker should somehow also simulate to show that she is breaking ice with us and not doing cheers with us. She's just breaking ice with us to say that she's introducing herself. So there can be tonal change, which the evaluator could have said, a tonal change to say that this is an icebreaker. A bit of hesitancy, which could even be put on, can.
No, but that's a little digressing from the actual objective. The objective of icebreaker is two. One is to understand the structure of the speech, and one to speak in front of the audience. Do you think, Nikhil, that she has met these objectives?
Okay, I have an unbiased opinion because I've not known Divya. I would have probably met her at press center. That's about it. As an audience, forget evaluator, I got to know more about Divya as a person. So first objective is fulfilled. Second is about understanding the basic structure. Love the structure, solid opening, good timeline, method of content, and a solid message. I know she overstepped by 6 seconds, but I think the content bit of the structure made sense. So I think totality, she has met the purpose of her icebreaker.
All right, but going back to meeting the purpose of the speech, without mentioning that you have met the objectives, do you think the speaker can also say that the structure was well in place? This was the opening, body, and conclusion. Since it was not mentioned here, is it enough to help the speaker to move forward in her journey of being a speaker?
Are you asking from an evaluative perspective to
Yeah, I mean,
recommend it?
I'm speaking from a project perspective, right?
Okay.
Every project has an objective, and it's not always the international speech, right? So for a speaker, when an evaluator speaks, how important it is to go back to the objective and tell the speaker that you have met the objective or not, whether verbatim or through your analysis?
I do that at the beginning. I don't say it as a commendation saying that you met your point of, or you met your objectives. I don't say it as commendation. I say it as an intro, saying that
Okay.
well done on starting your project and meeting the objectives. Let's move to the commendations. That's something that I do.
All right, all right. Anything else to add, Dr. Ballal?
Yeah, I think this evaluator could have commended, right at the beginning, that the title itself, as to how it gives away that, we come to know you better. It's an icebreaker, and we come to know you better. We know who you are, and then brought it back again at the end when you summarize
All
the
right.
title, the comment on the title. And I personally feel that in all of this, I've learned over the years that one must say right at the beginning what moves you about a speech, what is a head turner element in the speech,
Right.
the title, or whatever the event. And like the intro that Maria said about, the quote, I think the head turner should be brought out right at the beginning, and that speaks volumes for analytical quality.
All right. So let's summarize distinguished Toastmaster Kiran's presentation today. Kiran, DTM Kiran, you had a good opening. Your enthusiasm was quite evident, and the stage presence as well. While your recommendations were quite valid, or your commendations were quite valid, there are things that could have been added, which is like the language stood out of the speaker. The message was quite valid, as well as could also recommend her to stay within time, probably cut down on a few extras that she had spoken about. While mentioning the recommendations, you could probably be a little more clear, especially when you're saying use of props. You could probably articulate it a little more expressive. You can express it a little more clearly, so it could benefit the speaker. Take a little bit of due diligence towards the summation. I think that would really help, because that also carries a 15 marks, I think, in the ballot, and therefore that is something that you could look at. In conclusion, 2.36 minutes is what you spoke. You had another extra minute to speak there. Probably you could use that wisely. With that, congratulations, and let's move on to the next speaker. That is Toastmaster Vijay. Toastmaster Vijay, in short, DTM Ballal, I'll start with you today. Now, Vijay, what are the observations you made as far as his evaluation is concerned? He spoke for 2 minutes, 56 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he could have used all of his time, which comes to my mind all the time. And a little bit of repetition here and there. He repeated what he had already said in various kinds of ways with his ums and ums and all that. That kind of tells that you're not very, very clear on what you have actually digested from that speech, and you end up repeating. And congratulated her on storytelling mode. But obviously, I like to, not go point by point. I have just an overall impression that somehow today I found Prabhudevan was like that oomph, like that energy in his evaluation. And
Lacked energy is what you're saying?
yeah, he lacked energy in his
Okay.
evaluation.
All
He
right.
didn't appear too motivated to evaluate. He himself, his energy level was low. And that
Okay.
shows when you're listening, as a totally dispassionate person. And also the point that he said that she had not told us about the family, whereas in her own nuanced way, she told about her family. So one has to look for all these things when a person is delivering, and say, and a few phrases here and there, instead of saying you could consider doing, to fine tune your speech, you could have done this, and may I suggest, words like that, which show that you're empathetic and you want to evaluate. Overall, I find these are the words which were lacking in all the evaluations today, including Prabhudevan's. A little bit of modification of the language while evaluating will go a long way. Otherwise, he did it by the book. He had an opening, a body, a conclusion, good analysis, and a summation. And then again, not saying that I'm summarizing, but bring it again in a very subtle way that you're actually summarizing.
Right. All right. Thank you very much, DTM Ballal. Nikhil, Vijay had a commendation, recommendation, and summary. He went by the book. Do you have anything extra to add so that he could make his evaluation better?
Yes, please. A couple of points here. I think, yes, Ballal sir told about the commendations. About the recommendations, I feel that as evaluators, we should never evaluate a speaker based on his or her track record. The first point was energy was missing. I haven't heard the speaker speak before, so I don't know what kind of energy they carry, right? So when they say energy was missing, you actually made a comparison to the past. I don't think that was necessary. In fact, I love the energy of the speaker. Divya was all in today in her icebreaker. That's what I felt, even though I don't know Divya. Yes, sir.
Sorry, I mean, we're talking about Prabhudevan, not about Divya.
Yes, sir. I just told that
Yes.
Divya's energy was good, so I don't agree with the point. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, right.
Yes. Yeah. And about the details of the family members, like Ballal sir said, she in her own way brought about her dad's and mom's name. I know she didn't go into the details of the family, but I think she did justice in the time that she was given. So the recommendations, something I don't agree. However, commendations, the storytelling, the stage utilization, and you brought about the language aspect. You gave examples as well. So I agree with the commendations, but not with the two recommendations, right? That's something that we could have done better, in my opinion.
All right. And did you also like his summation, the way he summarized the speech?
I felt the opening and the summation was very simple, where he thanked this. He started by thanking this General Levat or TMOD, whoever introduced him, and the summation was also simple. So it served the purpose. There's nothing eye-catchy or nothing that could really make the speaker feel special about himself or herself. It was very simple by the book. A little more elevation, like how the other Levat started with the quote or did a callback with a mathematical equation. I would have preferred that, but that's okay. It was simple and served the purpose.
All right, okay. So as you're hearing Toastmaster Vijay, you had a simple presentation which was by the books. Probably you could, again, when you recommend energy to the speaker, you could probably think about your own energy a little bit. That would probably stand in line with what you're expecting from the speaker. And again, don't go by the track record, what the speaker has done earlier, because people here are, or not everyone knows what the speaker is, and that's a better way to do it. You could also think about decorating your speech a little bit. That could accentuate the message in the way you're presenting it, and that could probably start with a quote or even a callback model, like we heard another speaker speak. With that, I think it's good to now conclude the evaluation. But before closing, I would like you to give a suggestion to our speaker. We had two speakers today. If you had to give a suggestion, Nikhil, to our speaker number one, what would that be to Kalika?
I would love to connect with all the two speakers one to one, but if I have to say one point to the first speaker, just a second. I have 10 pages of notes, just a second. Um, I think the first speaker can really work on the pacing and less of content driven. The speaker is very content driven, very fluent with her language. She's content driven. The delivery could have amplified by reducing the pace, having a little more expressive hand gestures. Avoid closing, being very close to your body, right? That's something I would suggest to a speaker. However, I know Kalika would love to connect offline. That's something
All
I can
right.
say for now.
And for Divya, what would you say before I move on to Dr. Ballal?
Yeah. With Divya, I think I mentioned the 2 points of recommendations. The eye
Yes.
contact is necessary even when you're thinking. Good speakers don't show their thinking or don't show that we are nervous. Avoid that little gap of thinking and not many eye contact. And I think the icebreaker is so good. So I can only imagine how your other projects will be. So please work on the emoting on specific aspects that really add emotional quotient or value to the audience. Those are the only two things. That is very well done.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Ballal. How would you like to help our speakers improve in their speech?
I felt Kalika was handicapped by the objectives of the speech. It's a very dull project, I find, in the Toastmasters. And I find that she was handicapped by that. Nevertheless, she could have bettered it by giving personal examples where she felt delegation and the various things that she said about what was the challenge. The personal story would have brought it out better. A little bit of kind of looking at the grammar and the words that she used. For example, it is not sooner or later, sooner than later, and it's a paradigm shift, not shift in paradigm. And some such words. If you're going to use those words, then you have to really look into them and see how you're going to use it. She's a great speaker, and I think to summarize, I would say is the project which handicapped her. Personal examples would go a long way in taking it to a different level.
All right. And what about Divya?
From me? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, well, I have very little to say about Divya, but what I really like to say is, a few fewer anecdotes. She's got so much to tell us that she overwhelms herself. So I think if she could have reduced, she would have been within time. A little bit of pause, because we want to digest all she says, because it's also valuable and motivates us. So a little bit of pause here and there, but then, she went beyond time, so I'm contradicting myself. A fewer number of examples, a few pauses.
All right. Thank you very much to both Nikhil and Dr. Ballal for your inputs. I'm sure it has definitely helped our evaluators as well as our speakers. Speakers, you've already heard what our speakers, our evaluators have said. I'm sure you're going to do great when during the next round of your speech. Thank you very much to our panelists for your time and your suggestions. That is going to help our evaluators. Thank you very much. And over to you, Toastmaster Ashima.
Thank you so much to our moderator and panelists for this insightful perspective. As we come to the close of this meeting, I invite you to reflect on something simple yet profound. Every speaker grows because someone cared enough to listen deeply. Every evaluator improves because someone trusted them to give honest guidance. That is the spirit of this club. Not competition, not perfection, but continuous growth through meaningful feedback. It has been my absolute pleasure to serve as the Toastmaster of the day. Back to you, President.
Thank you very much, Ashima. Thank you very much, Ashima. Let's give Ashima a huge round of applause. And what a lovely meeting it was. We had 2 good speakers, we had 4 good evaluators, and we had a panel that I enjoyed moderating, and I hope the panelists too enjoyed giving your feedback. We would like to call you back again. I mean, that is Nikhil. Nikhil, please come back again to our club. But before we close the meeting, I would like to hear from you, Nikhil. How was your experience, this being the first time around?
Okay, I'll make this short in the interest of time. I had a bit of an apprehension as to evaluating the evaluators because I'm also part of an advanced club. We also have panel evaluations. I was really wondering if it'll work out, how it'll go. But I love the thought process behind enhancing the evaluators. And one thing that stood out for me is no evaluator made it about himself or herself. It was all about going in for the speaker to improve. So the value-based aspect is something really stood out. I missed the opportunity to join your club as a charter member last year. But then I'm so happy I got an opportunity, thanks to Daryl, to join your meeting as a panelist. And I hope I made some contribution to the speakers and evaluators here. Thank you once again, Daryl, for the opportunity. Hoping to see all of you soon. And yeah, we'll meet in Crescendo nevertheless. Thank you for a wonderful time.
Thank you, Nikhil. You still have time to join our club. It's never too late. And we are really happy that you are here because we enjoyed your input. Thank you very much. Dr. Ballal, would you like to say something before I close?
Well, I'm a chip of the old block. Very little to add. You could be sick of seeing me again and again. Thank you very much. I enjoyed myself thoroughly.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to see you, Doctor, and you're coming back after quite some time. All right, it's now time to announce the speaker and the evaluator. We had one speaker who was disqualified due to time. So the best speaker award today goes to Toastmaster Kalika Niddodi. Congratulations, Kalika. And the best evaluator for this evening goes to Distinguished Toastmaster Kiran Vasant. Hearty congratulations, Kiran. You are our best evaluator for this evening. With that, I think it's time to say goodnight, but I would like to remind you we have another meeting on the 23rd of this month, and the meeting is going to be an open house. We have a district champion who will be here, a 5-time district champion in the ISC category from Scotland, will be here. His name is Kyle, and he will be speaking, not only giving an education session, but he'll also be delivering his speech. Hopefully it will be his ISC speech. So please do not miss. We need a lot of guests here. So distribute it widely as possible. We will have the flyer ready tomorrow, and it's your chance to let the world know that Champion Evaluators is here to help you become a champion. Thank you very much, and good night from my end.
Jyothika, can you check Zoom chat before you close?
Zoom chat? Also,
something else you have to mention, Jyothika.
Yes. I would also like to mention that renewals are around the corner. And our treasurer, Toastmaster Sophie, has already put a message. She's also given her bank details and her UPI ID. Please make the payment as soon as possible. This is a request from your humble president to our humble members to make your payments.
And from the humble treasurer to
from
the
the
humble
humble
members.
treasurer. I borrowed that from you, Sophie. Humble treasurer, she said, so humble president. So please make your payments so that we can pay TI on time. It's also time for a group photograph. Group photograph, please switch on your video.
Can I
so we
ask
can
you
have-
if the dues go up as the dollar goes up?
Wish you could give us, doctor. You can't
Alright,
expect from
let's capture
everybody.
a picture. Let's
No, I
capture a
hope it's
picture.
not a punishment anyway. Thank you.
For not
All
coming
right.
for our meetings.
All right, Kalika, please switch on your video. Malini.
Kalika's video is on, but we can't see her actually. Yeah, now we can see you, Kalika.
Okay.
All right, everybody, smile. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With that, I'll say adios, amigos. Good night and ciao.
Yeah,
Bye.
good night.
Good night.
Yeah, yeah.
Good night, all.